Let me say this the way it needs to be said, because tiptoeing is how people keep lying to themselves. I don't know what is wrong with these knucklehead Republicans thinking Jasmine Crockett wouldn't kick their ass in a U.S. Senate race, besides sexism and racism, because everything else points in the opposite direction. Her record points the other way. Her skill set points the other way. Her performance in Washington points the other way, and the way Republicans visibly unravel every time she speaks, that points the other way too. So let's stop pretending this confusion is about electability or tone or style. It's about who they are not used to dealing with. White men, especially conservative white men in positions of power, are historically not used to black women who don't fold, period. They're not used to black women who don't flinch, don't shrink, don't soften their language, and don't ask permission to speak plainly. And when they encounter one, they don't know what to do with themselves. Sometimes it looks like intimidation. Sometimes it looks like condescension. Sometimes it looks like faux outrage about civility. And sometimes, let's be real, it looks like some weird underlying tension they don't even understand themselves. I don't know if it's sexualized. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's the leftover plantation mentality where they subconsciously believe black women are supposed to break under pressure. But whatever it is, it keeps failing them. Because Jasmine Crockett does not break. She's a trial attorney. That matters. That's not a resume line. That's a temperament. She's trained to listen, to wait, to let people talk themselves into trouble, and then to dismantle the argument piece by piece. That's why Republicans struggle with her so badly. They show up expecting a performance. She shows up expecting a cross-examination. And the tape proves it. Every time Jasmine Crockett speaks in a hearing, Republicans lose control of the room. Not because she's yelling, but because she's prepared. She knows the laws. She knows the facts. She knows the rules of engagement. And she knows how to expose nonsense without raising her voice. That's why they pivot to personal attacks. That's why they complain about her tone. That's why they try to paint her as angry or unhinged, because they cannot beat her on substance. Watch what happens when she talks about Trump. She doesn't do caricatures. She doesn't do cheap shots. She goes straight to the core contradiction of the Republican Party. You cannot claim to be the party of law and order while bending the entire legal system to protect one man. She forces them to sit in that contradiction. She forces them to answer for it. And they hate that. She's repeatedly called out Trump-era corruption, Trump-era lawlessness, and the Republican obsession with defending it. Classified documents, abuse of power, manufactured culture wars designed to distract from real governance failures. Every time Republicans try to steer the conversation into chaos, she drags it right back to accountability. That's not accidental. That's discipline. And here's what Republicans really don't want to admit. A U.S. Senate race against Jasmine Crockett would expose them. A Senate race isn't a rally. It's not a podcast. It's not a crowd screaming your name while you freestyle grievances. It's debates. It's interviews. It's long-form scrutiny. It's repeated questioning. And Jasmine Crockett thrives in that environment. She doesn't get rattled. She doesn't lose the thread. She doesn't melt under pressure. She doesn't collapse when a man raises his voice or tries to talk over her. She lets him finish. And then she kicks his argument apart calmly, on the record, in front of everyone. That's why this idea that Republicans would love to face her is nonsense. That's bravado. That's wishful thinking. That's men who are used to bullying their way through conversations, convincing themselves they somehow dominate a woman who has been schooling them on national television. Ask yourself, when has Jasmine Crockett ever looked unprepared? When has she ever been outmatched in a live exchange? When has she ever backed down from a hostile room? Never. What Republicans are really reacting to is a black woman who refuses to perform submission. A black woman who doesn't code switch to make them comfortable. A black woman who speaks with authority and expects to be taken seriously. Historically, that has always been threatening to men who confuse dominance with competence. And let's be honest, that's what this is about. They think black women are supposed to fall apart. They think pressure is supposed to make them emotional. They think confrontation is supposed to make them retreat. Well, they're not, and she didn't. And that's why Jasmine Crockett keeps kicking their ass rhetorically, legally, and strategically. So let's be very clear about what comes next. If you are in Texas, you need to vote for Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate in the Democratic primary. Not because she's loud, not because she's viral, but because she is built for this fight and has already proven it. And if you are anywhere else in the country, this is not just Texas's race. This is a national race. Donate to the campaign, support it, help put someone in the Senate who has already shown she can dismantle Republican nonsense in real time. The link is in the description. This isn't about symbolism. It's about survival. It's about competence. It's about sending someone into the Senate who does not scare easily and does not fold under pressure. Jasmine Crockett has already shown you who she is. The only people pretending not to see it are the ones who know exactly what would happen if she stood across from them.